Welcome to the voice of St. Anthony Parish from Allston, Massachusetts, right here on WROL, 950 AM, 100.3 FM. And you can also hear us at CatholicAudiomedia.com. That's CatholicAudiomedia.com. Well, we're going to go right into our final part of our interview with Jim Sano, author of the book, The Father's Son, among other titles. And so let us hear what he has to say. And, you know, I needed to ask you a question. Serena, I definitely want to ask you a question. Why, and if I'm giving something away, let me know. Why was David so upset that he didn't know Tom was a priest?
So the one of the main themes in the story is about trust. He had that broken trust as a child. So at 8 years old, when that trust is broken by your father, trust becomes such a sensitive spot. So he's living his life in relationships with something that is at a distance. You know, it's safe in a way where he's able to kind of do his thing, but not get too close to people. And Tom was someone he was starting to build a friendship with. And I think there's a lot out of friendship, you know, male friendship out there. And he was having that trust starting to build. And I think that the finding out something like you weren't told hit that sensitive spot that, you know, you lied to me or you hid something from me. So it was kind of jarring for him because it's that pivotal thing in his life that is missing, that doesn't let him, you know, have that intimacy of relationships, you know, with his wife or his kids or with friendships before that. So trust is one of the big themes in this whole thing. And I think that's a big theme in the whole story of the Bible, right, is trusting God fully, you know, instead of ourselves and not letting pride get in the way. So it kind of goes with all our relationships.
And you also hit on something that I'm not sure people are fully aware of when they're reading, is that the writer has a bigger idea who the characters are, and they may not. That whole story may not end up in that whole background may not end up in the story, but it plays a role in the motivation.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, when I wrote this book, it was 734 pages, I think, when I finished.
Really?
And my editor said, "Congratulations on writing a 734-page book. Now let's cut it in half." So there was, you know, a lot of that cutting. And what you brought up is exactly what you said. You need to know that, but the reader doesn't always need to know all that information.
That's right.
And so that's a very key item, I think, that I hadn't thought about going into it. I enjoyed writing the longer version, but nothing I took out, I think, compromised the story. I think it actually enhanced the story to, you know, to get it more focused, to get into the story quicker. And, you know, and I think as it proceeds, it kind of picks up. A lot of people, the second half just kind of took off of them and they enjoyed it. The nice thing is it's been the type of book that can be used in parishes for adult faith programs. So in our collaborative parishes here, we started a book group starting with this book, and it's turned into something that people want to keep doing. Like 40 people showed up. They said, "We want to keep doing this." So every other month.
40 people showed up. Wow.
Yeah, and we had just great conversations. What they liked that they could talk about characters and life situations and have the faith part woven in such a relatable way. So that's been going on for, my wife's been leading that for several years now. They just alternate a fiction book and a nonfiction book, and they enjoy it. I've connected with Andrea Heusel in Norwich, Connecticut, and she's already done several of the books with their diocese. Jim Beckman down in Oklahoma City, and Chad Judice in Lafayette. So I've been connecting with different parishes so that they can put this out. And where a lot of parishes don't have adult faith formation, which is really a sad thing because I think it's so critical to have that, a book like this can be something that's very easy to offer, even as a parish read, or a book discussion group, or, like I said, in Norwich, they did a 10-week program on the book. So they really just kind of took it apart, and they met over 10 weeks with, a whole big group from the diocese and did it. And that was just encouraging to see. So it's nice to have a resource, an alternative type of resource that, it's not a nonfiction thing, but it's got enough content and story in it to have a very lively discussion with people. And
sure.
One story, there was a guy that was in our book discussion group, and he was, I think he was in the armed forces. He was a firefighter and just very stoic in a ways. And he came up to me and he pointed to his 2 eyes and he said, "That doesn't happen." And he says, "You made me cry."
That's great.
Book. So it's just nice to see that, you could touch people in different ways and have enough of the story where people could, enjoy the conversation. So that's one place that we've been trying to, reach out to different parishes and see if there's some interest.
And with fiction, you don't have that direct, you have like this back door to be able to come in because it's a fiction story. It's not me talking to you. It's me telling a story about them, which ultimately is me talking to you, but it doesn't come across that way. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. Yes. I think that it helped with, you're not talking at me or just trying to feed me stuff. I'm seeing it from a different angle, and I'm watching it through these relationships, and it's presented in a way where it's out of friendship and love and answering questions and curiosity. So, the different angle sometimes helps, some people to have the interest to go through something and listen to something they might not have had either the patience or interest before.
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend that, I've been having beers with after work for 17 years, and he would just put his hand up. He says, "Just don't talk about God and don't talk about anything to do with religion. I'm not interested." And I respected that. We've become very good friends. And he read the book, and he goes, "I'm trying to sell this to everyone I meet." So
Right.
To have someone like that be able to receive what's in the book in a way that didn't feel like it was threatening or coming at me or preachy, that was interesting, and it kind of opened my eyes and to things I would have never sat down and listened to. He wouldn't have listened to me talk through most of it, but through the story and the characters, it changes the dynamics a bit for some people.
And it really does. Again, the name of the book is The Father's Son. It's going to say it a few times. The Father's Son by Jim Sano. And you said this is your first, so and it says right on there, a Father Tom story. So there are others that have come after this.
Yes. Like I said, it took me a long time to come up with this story. And then all of a sudden it seemed like the floodgates opened. So the second book includes Father Tom. It's Gus Busby, and it's about an old curmudgeon Italian guy who really lost his life, his wife, his family, and he was pretty bitter. And downstairs is living this single black mom and her teenage son who's kind of pulled into the gangs in Boston. And so this very difficult relationship between two of them grows into something in that. So there's a lot of mentorship and forgiveness in that book. Stolen Blessing was after that, was kind of a retelling of Jacob and Esau. And it's a mystery. My wife loves mysteries, and she always does the first pass edits of the book. So I wanted to write a mystery she couldn't figure out. Okay. So that one's gotten a lot of good acclaim. And then the one that just came out in December is called Van Horn, which is not part of the series, and it takes place on the Texas-Mexico border. And so that one is more of a action thriller, but it has woven and stuff. But they're all kind of timely type things. Mm-hmm. Gus Busby talks about a lot of the racial issues that are certainly in the news these days, and Van Horn is down on the Texas-Mexico border, so a lot of the dynamics with the drug cartels and what's happened to some of the towns along those borders on both sides is woven into this story. So that was I love doing the research for a lot of the stories and really digging into the culture and try to add some richness to the stories that way. So, I've had a nice response from all of them, and it's been a great journey of my own to be able to do my small part. I hope to help share the faith.
Well, this is a great process, a great idea. I've done a couple other interviews. One of them I did for just written, and the other one I did for radio, and they were by comic book writers. And I've used that in religious ed, and that's a whole new side that's coming out of Catholic evangelization. Sure. And this, as you said, it's kind of a new idea almost for Catholic fiction, even though we've got a history of great Catholic fiction writers. And this again, a great. I love the idea that Father Paul Soper and Michael Levine expressed about this is a great way to do exactly that, the new evangelization, to bring people into this real world image with this real world story.
Yep, absolutely. And it's been fun, and it's been very rewarding being part of it. I really appreciate their support and help in this process. And I appreciate you as well. I mean, your service to the country and also to your vocation is inspiring as well. So it was neat reading your book.
Oh, thank you.
And seeing that.
Thank you very much. Again, this is The Father's Son by Jim Sano. And I really enjoyed this. If you are from the Boston area, you're going to love the story because it all takes place in Boston. As I said, I've written there and I remember there. I know this area, this whole bit. So it's very, very good. And we thank Jim Sano for taking the time to talk to us at the Voice of St. Anthony Parish from Allston, Massachusetts, right here on WROL, 950 AM, 100.3 FM. And you can also hear us at CatholicAudiomedia.com. That's CatholicAudiomedia.com. And now let us hear all about Catholic TV. I want to call your attention to Catholic TV, which offers great faith-filled, family-friendly programming 24 hours a day. You can find your cable channel at www.getcatholictv.com, and you can watch online on the free apps or check out the YouTube channel. Daily Mass, Rosaries, the Divine Mercy Chaplet, and the Our Lady of Perpetual Help Novena are all available online and on demand. Check out CatholicTV.com. Well, we'll see you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the afternoon with Alfred Mehrer. In the meantime, have yourself a blessed day. In Cristo vivimos.